Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. My name is Josh with Talk to Dorks, and myself and a few friends have created this channel to record and share our D&D experiences with. The session you're about to watch is a test session, simply to test the current equipment that we do have. So when we start to record in August, September, we basically have the best knowledge possible to make sure the content is as best quality as it can be. So we hope you stay around for that and experience that alongside ourselves. If you'd like to help at all with basically making sure our equipment is as best as possible quality wise, we're talking audio, we're talking visual, we're talking editing, our Kickstarter will be in the corners and also description below, and if you want to help we would really appreciate it, but again it's a lot to ask for and we appreciate that as well. So we hope you enjoy the session. It should be fun. This is pre-recorded, so I've got no idea what's going to happen. So fingers crossed it'll be a good session. A few shout outs below to some of our amazing friends that we've made along the way over these small few months. We thank you for it, and yeah, we'll see you next time.
Hello, welcome to the first ever episode of Tales of Midfell. I'm your DM and host, Tom Lloyd. I'm surrounded by my friends and players today. We've got Tom, Benoit, Charlie and Josh. This is the first ever recorded episode of one of our sessions that we're doing. We're doing a one-shot tonight, based off my own homebrew fantasy world of Midfell. We're taking it back a little bit with a historic session, going back in the history that we're usually in my own homebrew world. Quick character intro. Benoit, if you want to take it off.
Well, my character is Critkit, the goblin. Short boyo of 3.4 feet. His hair is a messy black bob with overhead goggles he wears on top. He's an artificer. He has one green eye and one orange eye from left to right. He's also missing the tip of his left ear because he burnt it off because he's an idiot. There we go.
That was my time.
So tonight I'm playing Standy. He's a goblin as well. He's a fighter. He's the brother of Critkit. I have metal legs as they were taken off in an experiment from Critkit.
Consensually.
Yeah, let's put it that way.
If you don't say no, it's fine.
Josh.
I'm playing a hobgoblin called Tolba, who's a sorcerer. Pure red in the face, black long hair that comes down, like a bit like myself, a bit longer, and some like stumps at the front of his face, front of his head, and he's a bit matted and a bit dirty, really.
Charlie, quick intro.
I'm a bugbear called Krugar, and just a big hairy boy.
Big hairy boy.
With just big.
Yeah.
With the big.
The big.
Homebrew class.
Right. Okay. Let's jump straight into it. It's the BIG. Let's jump straight into it. So, like I said, this is a bit more of an historic one shot that we're doing. So, set a couple of thousand years before we usually sort of set our own campaign, which we'll be doing in August, September time. So this does take place a little bit more unfamiliar setting for you guys, shall we say. So before the land was known as Midfell, it was called Ordea, and before the Castian dynasty ruled the land, it was ruled by multiple clans, all scrapping over small pieces of land, not just humans but goblins and orcs, for generations and generations, before anyone even can remember. No one can even remember how these conflicts really started. They just became more and more petty, until about a few decades before this takes place. A particular clan leader, human clan leader, known as Magnus, saw the potential of the land and saw the potential of what a united people could bring. So he dedicated his whole life to crossing over the land of Ordea and uniting the people, which majorly succeeded at. And it wasn't until about 5-10 years ago before we start that sadly he passed away. But before he did, he managed to create the land of Ordea and mainly unite its people. Even some of the orc and goblin clans with the humans, and together started a kind of revolution. Instead of just having small scraps of land where small villages were burnt down every other month, people were now trading, uniting, using their own sort of abilities and talents and skills to create large towns, to advance themselves more and more. Where we take place though, we take place in a clan that is in between these two worlds, one of this and these old sort of traditional, almost Celtic Viking-like traditions, compared to the new advancements and growth of Ordea. It's a weird mix, and things are moving extremely quickly for the society that you guys live in. And you guys are all obviously playing goblins, but mainly living in a human settlement. Before now, your tribe was slaughtered one way or another, and you guys were the only survivors. However, you united, survived, and managed to find your way in a human settlement. You were offered safekeeping as long as you managed to prove your worth and were to build your own home. Using your bugbear's druidic abilities, you managed to form your own home from sort of nature of around the settlement that you were in, and managed to build it from just the natural sort of growth and magic, the druidic magic that your bugbear companion was able to use. And for the last couple of months now, you have managed to call this place home. At first, there was a bit of animosity and a bit of uncertainty between the other settlers and you all. However, after a while, you've all managed to sort of find your place in the settlement, and have slowly managed to find yourself being accepted, especially by the shaman seer lady of the clan known as Brenna. And she has found a particular fondness for you all, and was the main one who sort of preached your case when you guys all first came to the settlement. And so we begin at the beginning of the day with you all sitting in your constructed home in the settlement. You all wake, come to breakfast, and all come around at the table, waiting for what the day may bring. Take it away. Joining for breakfast.
What do you think, boys? Breakfast? I caught it before you were all woken up this morning.
What? What?
Yeah, that's usual.
Short legless.
Legolas or Legolas?
Both. It works on both levels.
Well, to be honest, I think they're an improvement.
Where are the bugs? Where are the bugs?
There are no bugs.
No,
I got rid of the bugs.
Fuck! Why'd you get rid of the bugs?
Because I don't like them.
Now I'm gonna have to go in the garden and fetch bugs.
I don't want bugs. You can make your own legs out of bugs.
I got it. I need the bugs.
So you go outside and you search as best you can for books. Give me an investigation check.
Let's roll the count. Let's roll the
16.
16.
Oh, that's good. Investigation, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, baby. Oh. 22.
22. Jeez, okay. What kind of bugs are you more looking for?
Tiny little ones like flies and shit.
Easily enough. It doesn't take you very long. This is a natural sort of growth home that you've sort of got going on. So naturally, animals come to us so easily enough. Looking closely enough, you manage to find enough bugs.
So if
Feel
you got a
like
lot of
it.
flies, I just whack in the flask.
You manage to get them all in. Got a nice little collection of flies going on.
And then, as I walk back in the home, this voice has changed. Fuck it. As I walk into the home, I take out 3 little vials, this big.
Mm-hmm.
This big. And I try and put the flies in each flask.
Okay. Give me a sleight of hand check for that.
Go on. Don't go searching for more bugs, please.
Oh, I think that's how you say from
that'd be an 8.
Go out your hand and it's like, give me an attack roll.
Against flies.
Yeah,
That's a little better.
easily enough, and you don't even need to roll damage. You've squished the little bastard. So.
Fine. I'll try and scrape it.
Yeah, you managed to just scrape it into the vial.
Right, where's my real breakfast?
What did you catch for breakfast?
Wild boar.
You just flop a dead wild boar still hanging out, just straight on the table.
It's well, they had a family.
So, I guess you guys start digging in. You guys don't need to worry about really cooking, and you just start tearing off legs and stuff, and start tearing off the meat and dig in.
Good. Tasty.
Nice.
Now start cleaning everything.
Yep.
Got Jim a favour, alright?
Clean!
After you've all finished and it's just bones and a few scraps of meat, you start vigorously tidying up and cleaning as much as you can, and basically throw out the bones of the window. And you hear a ah! It's like the bones come flying out of someone. Okay, so once you've cleaned up, you hear fly through one of the windows, and like a small blackbird flies onto the table. And just flies off once again, and you do recognise the bird as being one of Brenna's animal companions that she has trained and is able to communicate with using her sort of arcane and nature-based abilities.
I'll start reaching for my weapon.
Yeah, we'll start kind of getting stuff together. My quarter staff in there.
Cool. Okay.
All that good stuff.
You all gather yourself stuff. You all gather up your belongings and get ready for the day, and then head outside. And as soon as you do, you can see that the day is as busy as every other. Everyone is getting on with their daily tasks and jobs. Some are constructing, some are building certain tools or certain items for new houses that are being built, or whatever items are needed around sort of village and that sort of thing. And the houses are primitive. They are mainly just shacks with straw roofs and made out of muck and mud, whatever, basically, and stone and whatever you guys can sort of find around the sort of world that you are. Your clan is known as the Clan of Vel, as it is located in the Velster Valley. And you guys are sort of like in between these two great hills, and the forest doesn't lay too far away, as you can see in the north from the clan. And you know that Brenna lives in one of these smaller sort of shacks, and you head in her direction. As you do, you can see a cart sort of pull up sort of eastward from the town. And as it pull up, you see a half-orc come to one of the other sort of clansmen and start loading off a load of fish onto to this other clansman, and in return they are given some wood and wild boar meat and all these sort of materials, and seems to be a trade. And you recognise this trader as being Dras from another clan far to the east, known as the Temp clan. And both the Temp clan and the Clan of Vel, you both have a good relationship, as the Temp clan to the east is quite close to the sea, and you guys are more sort of land, sort of more land based, so you guys don't have full access to the sea. You have access to rivers and things, but nowhere near as much resourceful as the sea is to the Temp clan. So you guys have a trade agreement, and you under the sort of new order that Magnus, the old king, sort of brought, you all trade, and it's a good sort of relationship. And especially Dras, he gets along very well with the clan leaders and Brenna herself as well. And it's a very well-known other clan, and you guys have sort of a good communication and good relationship with them. But you walk past, and as you do, Josh, "Hey boys, how you doing? You alright?"
We're on the way to Brenner actually. How you doing, boy? You up to much today apart from training or anything else going on?
Doing good, family's doing well. Just about to head back to the clan. Say hello to Brenner for me. Give my regards. I best
We
be
will
setting off.
do. Fantastic.
Fantastic. Right. Well, I'll see you boys all another day then. Right. And whips his horse and it sort of like wheels off with the new materials he's got loaded into his cart, and it wheels off towards the east, almost straight away, and heads off on the path ahead. You finish your way going through the village, and the sort of hustle and bustle goes on around you guys. Everyone moving back and forth. Some children sort of playing in the path with their own sort of like homemade carved like wooden horses, and there sort of seems to be playing like warriors and horses in this sort of game going along. You walk through, and you see a new house being built for some new settlers that have just came to this sort of come to the valley. And you see one man, whoa, as another man sort of struggles to like, almost drops a beam, but then another man runs up and catches it with his other hand, and they manage to, like with some help, manage to lift it back up and start carrying on constructing the home as best as possible. You guys see that they seem to have it in hand, so no help is needed, so you guys carry on to Brenner's shack. You all head in, and you can see that smoke is sort of coming from her chimney, and the door is currently shut, but you guys approach. Come in. It opens up. You can see Brenner seems to be like moving back and forth through her home. The fire pit in the very centre of her room is alight with a gentle sort of ember that's giving the room a nice warmth in the cold morning. And you see as she's going back and forth, and she's woman like collecting a number of materials, and got 4 bowls set in place on a wooden table in her shack. In one bowl you can see like some of the hot coals that she seems to have collected. In another you can see what appears to be like a small little puddle of water. In another you can see some like soil, and in another you can see the bird of a feather, the feather of a bird even, sorry. She seems to be going back and forth collecting these, and I've collected these materials and just set them across her table, and she turns around to you realizing that you're all there. And this woman has dark sort of plaited hair, this pale skin, she's human, and this sort of blue paint in sort of like tribal markings across her face, and she's sort of got like a blanket sort of wrapped around her. She's middle-aged, getting elderly, so a few wrinkles you can see a few wrinkles if you look close enough behind sort of the war paint that she has going on behind her face. Are you alright, boys? How you doing? Good morning to you.
Good morning to yourself. We received your little birdie earlier.
I did.
This house is filthy.
Hey, I heard that.
Well, you don't have to live here.
Manners.
Manners.
Take your arms.
I've got something that might interest you. You in particular, if you pay attention with those half-broken ears of yours. Glad to see you've not blown them both off yet. Right, now, all of you, come here please, actually step inside. It's bloody freezing outside, come on. You guys step inside and shut the door behind you. You'll sort of come round in the shack, and she approaches you all, and like gives you a little pinch on your cheek, like bends down to yourself.
How strong is this fire that she's got at the minute?
At the moment, it's just keeping the room warm. It's
Is it too cold, or is it warm enough?
It's warm enough. It's close to embers, but it's still gently
cool.
burning away.
Right.
And yes, so she goes after she sort of like got you all sort of gathered around in the actual shack. She goes over to a little area in the room, and sort of in a bundle of sort of items. She moves some stuff around, and then finally picks something up. Like it's covered in a cloth at the moment. She goes back over to you all and sort of like leans down for you two because of your height. And you see in her hand is a small rectangular stone tablet with a weird discoloured stone in the very centre, almost like marble. But every time you sort of try and look at it and try and like see what kind of colour it is, it almost like changes colour and you're like unsure what exact colour it is. You can see like runes and like carvings in like the centre of it, and it's you can easily hold it in a hand, and it's sort of like this sort of shape. This I found in my travels, and I believe it is the key to one of the many guardian stones around the valley. And you guys know that the guardian ones, referred to as the guardian stones, are these almost 30-foot tall engraved stones that are fully implanted into the ground, and they are a complete mystery to everyone in sort of Ordea. Everyone sort of has their own myths and tales about what they sort of are. Some believe they are sent down, from the gods because of all these engravings and weird markings, and no one really understands. Some simply believe they are markings from when the very first clan arrived, and they just weren't marked down in history. No one's aware. Everyone's got their own sort of tales to tell about them. So I believe that from their markings that these do match the tablet and the guardian stones. And what I want you guys to do is take this with you, go to the nearest guardian stone up north from the valley. I know you've been there before, you know the way, and I want you to go and check it out for me. See what you can find, and then come back to me with whatever you manage to find there. Tell me what you find.
Can I have a look at that then, please?
Of course you can. She hands it over to you.
Can I Arcana check?
Yeah, give me a roll.
12.
These, you've seen the Guardian Stone a few times now, and it is kind of a landmark, and it's a bit curious, and it's in a place where it's nice to sort of play your head and things. I've been there a few times, but so these markings are definitely similar to the ones that are on the Guardian Stone, but any meaning that they have or anything like that, or any inkling is lost on you, unfortunately.
Okay, cool, that's fine. I suppose we'll be back later then with some good news. Is that what you're looking for?
Seems good to me. Whatever you can find. These stones are remained a mystery, and any key you can unlock, one of the information may come of aid to not only our clan, but perhaps to the entire land. So, obviously, we hope to do this under the law of the old King Magnus. We wish to bring more prosperity and advancements to all of us. We may be a clan of our old ways, but we wish to advance in the modern day as well. So, take this way with you, and I hope that you'll come back with something good, or at least something interesting.
Well, I'm not happy about doing this, alright? But if we're gonna do it, I need to go back to the house and get stuff. Because then I'm gonna...
We can stock up, that's no problem. That's fine.
Not prepared for a road trip.
Yeah,
As long as
it's
road
trip.
As long as it doesn't go boom. I'd like that a lot.
It all kind of goes boom.
Of course. Just keep a few meters away from me.
Alright.
Okay.
I need a few more.
You quickly head back to your home, your shack. Yeah, you head in, get where you want.
Take 3 vials. They were the same ones I put the flies in.
Okay.
I take them. I take a bear trap.
Okay.
But if you see anything sorry, I suppose.
Oh, is that my bear trap?
2 seconds. My bear trap!
No, it's mine. It says it on my character sheet that I've got one.
This one's mine. This one's upstairs.
You took a walk for it if you want. So if you make strength checks.
I'll go fetch the one upstairs. I'm not fighting you.
Yeah, you managed to take the bear trap, and you do see what's your character's name again?
Standy.
You do see scratch on it, property of Standy. Really like roughly scratched onto it.
It's been edged down. It's got the word C, the fucking letters CR in on it.
You walk glove. Why is it weird?
It's got like It's got like ring steel plates around it.
It's a gimp buff.
Now I have my boots that have steel soles.
Cool. Pretty edgy.
They have a use, I promise.
Does anyone else want to gather anything in particular of you all? Or
Any rations ready? Just well, how far from our track is it till the nearest guiding centre? How far are we talking?
The nearest guiding centre that you know is a few hours travel from the.
A few hours ration then? What skins are on that?
Yeah, just in case you guys need to rest up at some point.
And I'll get a ton of little vials like this big that contain a weird liquid in them.
Okay. Cool.
I've not seen that before. What's in that looking vial?
Water. Yeah. So it
I
is.
don't believe you, but okay, I'm not going to ask anymore.
Inside check.
Oh, not 20.
The
That's
first
not 20.
of the night.
Not 20 the night.
It's not water.
It's literally not water.
It's not water. Ugh.
Specifically.
It's like weird juice. It tastes really bad for you. And probably me too.
Sorry, it tastes really bad, or it's really bad for you. Or it's probably
both.
both.
Yeah. Probably both. Can I find out?
No.
You get a whiff of it, and you get a whiff of it, but you're not sure what it smells like, but it doesn't smell good.
Sweet.
Lovely.
I put it all in
Is
my,
that shit?
put it all in my sack. And it's all, they all have their separate compartments they go in. There's
Specifically,
order to it.
I'm grabbing all my hunting equipment.
Yeah, get your quiver, arrows, bow,
I might
rope, whatever you
All my
might.
2 swords. Oh, and the axes.
I'll grab my screwdriver.
Your axes are right.
My axes.
Barbara,
My axes.
come with me.
No, they're both living with me here. Don't know why.
We have a weird arrangement.
She cooks.
She took the kids.
It was brutal.
We're separated, but not divorced.
But she's still living. This isn't canon.
This is not canon. Right, okay. So you all separately gather your own equipment. You gather your arcane folks as well, your necklace with your sort of chain of jam, with the sort of metal like almost tree engraving going up the jam. Charlie, you grab your wooden staff, and you all head on out.
Quarter staff as well. Quarter
Yeah,
staff,
boys.
bros, isn't it? Yes, boy.
Yeah, boy.
I'm using mine walking stick like Gandalf.
Cool.
Can't go wrong with a good stick. You just can't.
True.
What else is useless?
Right.
Are we walking or we got mounts?
I think you guys are just walking.
You're going to be my man.
I mean, you could easily fit on your shoulders, to be fair. It's only about 3 or 4.
Someone shoulder.
Yeah, I'm going to do that.
Easily enough. He goes up and he sits quite comfortably on your
I've
shoulders.
got any food on me.
Yeah, you got your rations.
I'm going to break up my ration. I've got fruit. Eat all it.
He holds your hands over.
Filthy.
You don't touch it
Wash
with your
your
hands. You know, it doesn't like that. Okay, so you all set off from the village and soon travel off. And you head north from the valley, and you walk between these two hills for a good couple of hours. And on the way, a small stream runs sort of on the path as you walk. This clear water running through. Ahead you can see a small rabbit sort of drinking from the water, and as you guys approach closer it runs off and skips off into a bush and out of sight. But you all head on through the valley, and the stream gets larger and larger until it gets almost like a full river, and you sort of all walk beside it. Cricket, you're on Tolbar's shoulders as you all head on. Does anyone want to do anything on the way as you're heading through?
I'll make a perception check, see if there's anything in the area, anything of
Go for
concern.
Go for it, yeah. Cool. What was it?
I see nothing. I see nothing.
Okay, send him up.
It's that one.
Oof.
Nothing that should bring some concern, like a flock of birds just flies above your head. That's pretty much it. Just seems to be the valley as you walk on.
It's quiet, too quiet.
Now you just got shit in your ears.
He starts poking in your ears with his fingernail.
Nah,
Starts
point.
digging around.
I'm point. I'm not touching that. Cracks.
And so you guys all walk on and travelling for a couple more hours before you start heading more upland and more all these valleys, and it does get a bit harder. Travel through not as flat land, but you all make your way up the valley and finally come to sort of like a little bit of a peak where you can see the clouds above, and it's sort of the clouds sort of break and you can see the blue sky above, and it's a nice day today. It's still fairly cold, but it's nice, and it's nice fresh air around you. You head on towards further north towards the Guardian Stone. It's not too long after that you do approach it, and you can see this monumental 30-foot stone planted in the ground. Around it, in a like circle, are these smaller stones, just regular sort of sized boulders all around. As you approach, the Guardian Stone in the very centre has these strange markings and engravings that you've all seen before. And you approach. What do you wish to do?
I'm pulling out that tablet that Brandon gave me. See if there's anything going on with it.
Before I do anything, I'm putting gloves on.
Okay.
Don't know where these things have been.
The gloves.
No,
Oh, the second one.
Stones.
Come on, anyway.
really old.
You feel a slight vibration as you get out, like hold it closer to the stone, and you see a faint glow come from the odd coloured stone.
Okay, I'll take someone behind the nearest rock.
Okay. Cover away.
Is it pointing or is it like a GPS? Or we got what?
You're still about 10 foot away from this thing, but you can still, it seems the more steps you take, the
How many
more violent the
How,
vibration is
are there
going.
near us?
How many stones? About 10 in the circle around.
How
Smaller ones.
how tall are
Not
you
smaller.
two? You play 5
We're
foot.
both about 3'4" or something.
I've
like
got
So
that.
I've got mould earth on me. I know it, but I don't know what it does. But can I raise a 5 foot? Is it 5 foot?
I think it's a
Yeah,
5
5 foot cube.
Yeah, it's 5 foot cube.
Okay, well, I'm going to want to mould earth right next to him. It's going to make a little bit like a hardy hook between for those two.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Boy, I can't see.
Yeah, you do a little hop and he's sort of like peeking over the top of this.
Are we just going to walk forward, Charlie? Because well, we're big boys, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll walk forward.
I'm not going to I'm going to keep walking towards the. Just keep walking towards this guardian stone, I suppose. The tablet man.
Okay. As you walk forward and get closer and closer to it, you feel the vibrations get more and more violent as you get closer to it, and it glows more and more bright, this odd-coloured stone. You get closer and closer to it, it vibrates more and more and more before it like slips fully out your hand and like embeds itself into the rock, and you can see as the rock, instead of like breaking from the hit of this other stone, it molds it into it, and the stone almost like swallows the small tablet.
Okay.
As it does. And you see all these engravings, this weird light starts to like go into all of these weird engravings and start lighting up, and it's kind of weirdly pretty to look at to begin with.
It's really bad juju, guys. Really bad juju.
But then shifts, and you can see as this almost like pupilless bright white eye stares at you all. Roll initiative.
This thing's alive, isn't it?
He hasn't seen you two though.
Ooh.
Oof.
Oh, that's some nice shit going on there.
Right, okay. So the rest
Okay, now, man. The bad rolls out now, isn't
This dice is my happy dice.
Centre, these two, you two.
it? Yeah, that's what's yeah.
Okay, so you were like V close to this thing, both of you, whereas you guys were like still behind but like in cover.
Do you want me to use
So,
D4s as a...
Yes, that might be a good idea actually. So yeah, so that's your guys' cover.
Yeah.
And And the stones are sort of like, imagine they're just all around at the moment. I was going to use it as cover, but no, we won't use those as stones because I'm all basically. Right,
You can draw them on,
okay.
you know.
So,
It's a paper.
it is, I don't want to ruin like a plain white piece.
I've
I
got
might
loads
need
of
it another time. I might need it for
Loads
another
of
time. Okay, so 25 to 20 for initiative.
I forgot what it was.
Oh,
No? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. 15 to 20.
19 for me.
19, okay, right, so.
Cricket's doing good. Cricket's making me a happy dad.
Right, okay. Okay, 10 to 15.
12.
Oof.
Oof,
You should know I don't roll initiative. Like, I don't think I've ever had above 20.
Right, okay. So what did you guys get then?
7.
8.
And Standy, right. Okay. Right. Okay, so first up is Cricket. What are you doing, Cricket?
Oh, first, I yell at Standy, "You're my meat shield!" I kick him.
Make a strength check.
It's a 1. It's a nice 1.
You try and kick
You break
him.
your foot in the
You
meat.
slip in blood. You hit the ground. You're on your back.
Okay. Could have gone better.
Stand up.
Get up.
That's half your movement.
Yeah. I'm gonna poke my head out from behind the rock and just go. Ting! The crossbow. We
Roll
come in
it.
peace.
Roll hit.
For fuck's sake.
Well, this was the also bad dice. That would be a 4 naturally plus 3 again. It's not going to be good. It's a 10.
That will not hit, unfortunately.
Stop playing peace.
Yeah, so you and he just bounces off the stone. And as you're looking further at it, you can see that there are these engravings. You can see that like, they almost appear to be like gaps where these engravings are, that they're lit up on the stone as you're looking at it. You just shot fire from it from behind this, and it is the stones go. And you see as it's almost like eye turns towards you two. I need you both to make me dexterity saving throws, please.
About that. Oh, okay. Right, come on. Green Ranger dice. Green Ranger dice. Oh, that's beautiful. That's a 19. Yes!
That'll be a
Not
pass.
so lucky.
Thank
that.
God.
That's a 9.
Oof. So you take half damage. You take full damage.
I don't need to do this. No, don't do
Why
it.
do this?
Don't do this.
You just see this bright white light come towards you. That's this and beam of energy just shoots out at the both of you.
Solar flare.
You take 6 points
That's
of
my
radiant
fault,
damage, and
Radiant
Charlie,
damage.
you take 13 points of radiant damage. As this beam just like, and you see as it hits and like hits into both of you, like, like, and as
I
it
didn't see
embeds
it.
and like creates like a hole in the soil like between you both as you get hit, and you like try and dodge out the way, and it just like scrapes your arm, still hurting and still causing a burn on
It
your
already
arm.
counts as damage, so you
Um,
can just click done and not take it off.
But Krugar, you just struggle to like get out of the way. You've got the large form, not the quickest, and you just get fully hit in the
Massive
shoulder,
bullet.
and it like and burn into you. Right.
Oh, I
Okay.
forgot, I'm really thick.
That's gonna be go for now. Tolbard, your go. That's you, Josh, mate.
Yeah, I know. I'm just thinking, do a fireball already. I waste a third of the spell.
I mean, it's usually better for groups, but up to you.
I'm
What
gonna
do you
witch bolt this bad boy.
do? What do you want to do? Oh, witch bolts now. Okay. Yeah.
Is it a what is it? Oh, range spell attack. Okay, plus 7 on this bad boy. Green Ranger dice for the win. Oh,
Word once, not again.
Green Ranger dice will lose.
so that one. Yeah, that's an 8 though.
So
My attack
after
There's
bonus.
a reason the Green Ranger was a traitor.
Darn.
So after like almost like landing on the ground, you desperately try and hold it in your hand, and this purple energy just off lightning just like shoots out, and it just goes completely far off. Just doesn't hit at all.
Let's think. Do I do this already? 17.
Is Witch Bolt a spell?
It is a spell, yeah.
First level.
First level.
There's one magic sorcerer.
Oh,
You don't have to. It's
Oh,
close.
damn it! Okay, cool. I'm gonna spend from the pick.
The stress of the situation, you weren't expecting this to happen, so yeah, I'm going to say that was a little bit of a potential wild magic surge.
Playing a risky game.
Yeah, I'm going to spend 2 points.
2 sorcery points,
I'm
okay.
going to cast Fireball on it.
Okay, make me an attack roll.
Not what
Maybe you need to stop
the
using
boat
the
be
Green
shit.
Ranger dice, I'm not going to lie.
Make fireball.
Oh,
Fireball.
Fireball, not
Fire-
Firebolt.
Fireball,
Sorry.
yeah.
Okay.
Which is a 16.
Does hit, okay, roll me damage.
This is like the poor man's old class.
bleeds.
An 8. An
Spicy.
8 plus what charisma? 12.
Nice, okay. Right, okay. Next up is Krugar. What are you doing, mate?
Baffle. Macedon.
I'm gonna make fire in my hand.
Cool.
I'm gonna hold it on the eye.
Okay.
What is intimidation or?
Just to hurt it.
Just slam.
I'm going to say because you're in such a close
Philosopher's Stone
proximity,
stuff.
I'm going to say
Slam
make me
produce
an
flame
attack
in
roll
space.
with advantage. Because you're in such a close.
15.
15.
It's just
And,
it's wisdom, isn't it?
plus 2.
17.
17.
Yeah, that'll hit. Okay, so roll me a d6 plus your wisdom modifier.
D6. That's a D8.
Yeah.
Is it? Oh, okay, d8. I didn't realise that there was actual stats.
DM mean DM. So it's
That's
6.
I didn't realise that was a fucking spell.
4.
It's
It's
dope.
not a spell.
Pretty
Plus
flame.
wisdom is
Yeah.
6.
6 points of damage. Nice. Okay. Yeah. So you cause a flame, produce a flame into your hand, like slightly hop
Oh,
up,
wait.
going onto like a
It's
wedge.
2D8.
Roll another 8.
Oh
then.
yeah.
Level
Roll
five.
it
Level
again.
5
Roll it again.
That's
That's a good point, you know.
That'll just be an extra
Yeah,
4.
wait, 2d10,
That'll just be an extra 4 onto a bonus, yeah.
Bugger. Prepare, guys. Someone said prepare.
Yeah, so you sort of like jump up, hop
Oh,
and
yeah.
like, grab yourself onto a sort of place where you can like grab hold of this massive stone and produce the flame in your hands and straight into the eye, and you can. It doesn't really react, but you can sort of see it. There's like slightly flickering as you like hold it straight into its eye. Right. Okay. I'm assuming that's your go, Kruger.
yes, it is.
Okay, Standy, you're up.
That's a cantrip.
My fireball was 2 D10s. I forgot about it from level 5. Bugger.
Right, so
my shock and grasp started at 1d8. I'm glad you guys are
I'm going to move as far away as goblinly possible from my brother.
That's about 25 feet, isn't it? Or 30 feet?
25, got 30 feet of movement.
Yeah,
I'm actually going to go here instead.
Cool.
Can I shoot through? I don't know if I'll. I don't know if I'll end up hitting you.
Depends how you roll.
Okay, I guess I'll have a go
Risk
from
the
there.
boy, risk the dice.
So, shot 1.
Go for it. With your arrow. Pull it
Yeah.
back.
I'm putting sharpshooter on it.
Go for it.
13 plus 9, 22 minus 5, which is
13.
17.
That will hit.
Where was the -5 from?
Sharpshooter. It's the best feat in the book. I love it. That would be 3, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 piercing damage from that.
Nice.
And then
Okay.
What? How do you get from 3 to 13?
you get plus 10 from sharpshooter. Basically,
Oh.
it's you take -5 to
It's
attack,
disgraceful.
plus 10 to damage.
Oh boy.
Absolutely disgraceful.
And then I'm going to second shot, extra attack. I didn't say I was going to sharpshooter that, so
No, you
I
didn't.
can't.
Just an attack for that one.
2,
Push it up.
7.
So
damage to that one.
7 plus your 18 was it the one you damage first?
7 and 18, yeah. Cock 2 arrows. Cock? No, cock's not the word. Well, it's knock.
Roll.
It's
So-
knock.
Yeah, no.
So you skitter off from
That's right.
from the
Roll
colours
it.
like
That's so sick.
like skid down to the ground, getting out your bow. You dig 2 arrows into the ground as you do. One, you see a crack in its form in one of the markings, and that's lighting up. Hits straight into it, going straight through. Like you don't even see like embed and like get stuck in the rock. It just goes straight through. And you see the light more. Like the form goes like slower. The stone that was moving. Another arrow sticking out the ground. Hit it again, like straight in the same place. This time does get stuck, but you can still see you've caused it some damage, some pretty bad damage. Right. Okay. I'm assuming that's your go.
I'm actually gonna. Where are the stones around? Am I next to a stone?
You're very close to one. Yeah. It's pretty much to your
Can I
right.
bonus action hide behind one?
You certainly can.
Thank you.
Wait, can you do that as a fighter?
Goblin.
Goblin.
Oh yeah, they can.
16.
Goblins have all of
16. Yep. So easily enough, you can move past it and get back to
Starts to
the
move. Starts to grab you.
Right, that's my turn.
Cricket, you're up.
Okay.
I've been near you.
Okay, it worked, didn't I? You're away. 5, 10, 15. I'm gonna move there. I'm gonna run out. I'm gonna skid to a hole, like leaning backwards on the mud. And I'm gonna fire my crossbow. And that is what I will do. Be good to me, dice.
Oh,
you're looking
one.
at that one.
And that one. Nice. So I guess the strength.
Roll me damage.
Hang on, I still need that.
Oh, sorry.
So it was there, I think.
Roll me damage.
Annie. Oh no. Wait. Oh. D6. No,
Is
it's
that,
D8.
is that with all the rest, or is that just generally?
That would
You
be.
do it on every
That would be
attack, forever.
5
And
damage for
Who's
that.
that little
few-
white pawn
there's a few extra
next to the
benefits.
stone?
Oh, fuck.
How much damage did you say?
5 points of damage.
You miss aim and you feel a sharp stinging in your back. You
Fuck!
take the damage.
5, yeah?
Would you believe it wasn't me?
Insight check. Okay, cool. Right.
Is that your go over? I'm assuming.
Helmo. My boots have springs on the fucking bottom.
Of course they do.
And they just bounce me straight back. Oh, I love
So
it.
you shoot
Skid,
at him, like,
shot,
you
shot me and went back
You
again.
see your ally, he turns around like a big this bolt in his ass, and he turns around.
Who's team you on?
It's that thing where you can
Straight
make
away.
magic items.
Yeah, boots the one in path of glorious.
Yeah, you just boing like roll straight behind and back into the cover.
Can my legs have some magical things like that?
No.
Okay. It is the stone's turn. So,
I know that's
yeah, Krugar, you're still sort of like on this stone, so it's going to go straight for you, mate. As you're still at this eye thing.
boots the one in path. Yeah, it's just a bonus action, okay.
That'll be a 13 to hit.
That misses.
It misses. Shit, son. Okay.
Tim was not expecting that.
No, it wasn't.
So after I stab someone who's a...
So you see as the lights like the energy sort of builds up again, like before it did before it shot you guys, and you quickly up and like drop and like just boom, straight into the ground, just misses. Okay.
The Guardian is impressed with the wild.
Tolvar.
I'm gonna fireball this thing then.
Go for it. Make an attack roll.
Green dice or rocky energy dice?
They both screwed you over.
They both should be money. 18.
Does hit. Roll me damage. So it'll be
2d10.
Yep.
Plus 4.
Yeah, try on both of them.
9, 7,
16.
plus twice 20 points damage.
Nice. Okay.
Damn, you guys doing some hefty damage. I've done more damage to my own team than anybody else.
This is a regular
So,
occurrence.
so seeing that the eye is normal, just as it sort of like cools down from this beam of energy, like shooting down into the ground, trying to hit your Krugar. You see at a vulnerable point, fireball, and it just soars through the air and just like straight through the eye. It's gone.
Yeah, boys!
It's in the light, dies out, and it just pretty much shuts down.
So this ground then, what is it? Has it cracked along? Has it broke alongside this whatever we took out, or is it just?
You see as you actually
It's still
approach it, you
standing.
see this like the stud and the tablet lies on the ground.
And the 30-foot guy stone still there, like chilling.
Still there, and as you sort of walk around it, its stone form sort of shifts once again, and you see as like a doorway in the stone opens up.
Right, looks like we're going for them, boys.
The inscriptions on it. Can I try and work out what they might mean?
You certainly
I
can.
I speak Draconic if it means anything.
Draconic. Right. Okay.
So I've got speech quite earlier, Tom.
Well, I clearly wasn't communicating.
Well,
to
you didn't tell me
guys.
that.
I did not, but that's fine. It's too late now.
Oh shit, sorry.
Make
Now I'll speak a bit.
I'll speak this weird language.
I'll speak a bit.
No, it's fine. Make me an abyssal check. That's not a thing. Make me an historic history or arcana check.
History or arcana.
Mm-hmm.
Speak
Am I
thief,
good at
Carl.
anything? Arcana.
First, I do speak primordial. Primordial.
Wait, no, the one that.
6.
Who is
So I
it?
got that fat
You
dwarf
do it.
language down.
What was that?
6. No, the
Sadly,
secret
you have
new
no
improvement.
Can I try reading the primordial?
Is that not just great?
It's not
Yeah, it's just
primordial.
primordial.
Looks like not
It's
brand
not
primordial that
Thieves'
you've
Town.
ever seen, unfortunately.
Okay, cool.
Damn.
So it may be draconic, is that what you're saying?
No.
It wasn't draconic. No. So, yeah, you can't seem to like tell from the markings on the stone what these appear to be, and to the goblin clan as well. Any goblins that you know of the guardian stones, but you guys don't actually. No goblin that you've ever known knew what they were, and unfortunately, neither do you guys.
Are there any pieces of the like broken eyeball thing that's left?
Hurrah! Yeah.
I'm gonna get out my tweezers, pick them up, and put them in a little vial.
Yeah, okay. You enough to manage to find some very large intact pieces of the eye, and you collect them and put them away. Yeah?
You have to still see that.
I'm gonna take it in. I want to shoot that.
Shoot about that once.
Yeah, you still see that.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
gonna,
so excited.
I will do it! For the good of the mission, I will go!
I fucking love it.
It's the best card. Anyway,
yeah, I'm gonna pocket the tablet.
okay. Yeah, so you sort of step in and it is this doorway, and even though it's a fairly bright day, you can't. It's a fairly dark space that it sort of opens into.
Dancing
But
lights.
as soon as you sort of enter the space, anyway, the tablet once again slightly glows and starts to vibrate, and you look below you, and the floor itself gets brighter and brighter and brighter, and
I'm
then
gonna put it in a bag. Quick, put it in a bag.
then you all get transported.
Wait, I
into
didn't
this-
check if my arrows were still there. Shit!
What?
and you're all in this dark space.
My dad's not working now.
Light up the space
Dragon
and not this time. And you guys are in what appears to be a large hall room. Walls built of stone and pillar, and statues stand in the room of these tall warriors in this weird armour that you kind of never ever seen before. You've seen metal, and metal has been crafted, but never from the looks like this before. These are made of stone, but you can tell it appears to like replicate metal armour. And looking at the construction of these stone walls again, you've never seen like you're a fairly primitive civilization, and you've never seen pillars and building constructed in this way or this almost perfectly before up to this point. It is dark without the dancing lights. You guys wouldn't be able to see. So what do you wish to do? You can see at the very end of this room, you can see two doorways, two sort of doorways lay at the end of this hall.
Critkit.
Now this is what a house
You've
should look
got
like.
a bigger brain than me. I think you should
I
check
can
out those
confirm that.
statues.
Do you think this is the people before us, who went to conquer the land before us and we took over again? Should we've done some sort of time travel? Not metagaming, that didn't happen. That scroll off the record, I didn't say time travel. Where have we
I seem to
transported
remember
boys?
something about time travel from that other campaign we played with Tom.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm lost. You people are talking gibberish.
No, I'm just saying I think you should be the one to check those statues out. I agree.
This will be
This will
fun.
be funny.
Can I mould earth from underneath me so you don't do that?
It's more stone that you're moulding as opposed to
Right.
like actual.
Can I mould earth and just push
Hey,
it towards the statue?
me!
I'll help you. Yeah, you're like inches away from the statue now.
You got my moves! Yes, that's definitely happening.
Yeah,
Like,
you're basically like pressed up against this statue now. Two like mounds of earth like either side of you, pressing you against this statue.
I reach in my bag and I get out. What tools could work here?
middle finger.
Let's go Tinkerer's tool. Tinkerer's tools might work.
Okay.
Alright. Is it like unrolls?
Can you act it out with that?
Please.
I can.
Here we are.
Just poke it with tweezers.
It just the stone slightly chips off, but you've seen craftsmanship before. This seems to be the finest stonework you've ever seen.
Hey, look, I want to take it home with me. I want more. I want more.
All you guys can hear, because you're sort of covered by these walls of earth. All you guys can sort of hear is this ting, ting, ting.
I'm just going to drop it. I'm going to drop all the...
The goggles come on. Quickly put
He just kind of looks very guilty as he joins the group again.
What'd you find, Critkit? What's going on?
I don't know. I didn't check. I was too busy looking at nice things.
Fuck.
I'll do it now. Can I make an investigation check?
Yeah, sure.
This
Big
dice.
dice, big dice.
It hasn't rolled anything good for me so far. It's
Not one! Three that ones in a row! It's beautiful.
What are you trying to investigate? Statues or
The statue I've like nibbled at, I guess.
Give it a little. Appears to be stone.
Tastes like stone.
Oh.
You said there were exits or doorways.
Yeah, there are two doorways at the very end.
Is that it? There's nothing else in this room apart from statues and...
You can give me a perception
Yes,
and
you made
investigation check. Depends how thorough you want
I
to
don't
be.
want to use one.
Crushed me against a dirty statue. And there was already a door.
10 perception, yeah?
You need to.
I was forced into this situation.
Okay. Lighting up this room and looking over with your spell.
Great, mate.
It's a fairly large space. It's about 30 foot by about 20 foot. So it's a large hall that you're sort of in. As you sort of look around the space a little bit more, you can see that there are like these piles of rubble, and what appeared at first to be like these perfectly constructed walls, you can see that the ceiling and some of the walls are a bit broken, and there is like rubble and dust and some small sort of like cobwebs built up sort of around, placed in small little piles around the room. So it isn't as sadly perfectly constructed or intact as initially thought.
Talking intact, we're talking I could break an apron and see what's on the other side.
Well, the wall.
Mm.
Give it a go.
No, don't do that. Please. Wait,
Yeah.
everything could fall.
What else on the other side though? I would
Everything
get
could
those
fall
two
on
doors
top of
too.
us.
Too scenario-istic. Just made up a word then as well.
I'm gonna hide. Just gonna hide.
Yeah, I'm gonna walk up to one of the most, I don't know, least intact part of the wall and just like try and go for my quarter.
First of all, make me an investigation check now, just to see which part of the wall you can find.
I'm not using my stone. Bad dice.
11.
Okay. You look around, sort of try and give it a check as best you possibly can. You're not an expert in stone or building, really.
I'm next to the doorway.
Okay, cool. And give
Oh,
it a
you're my
little
protection.
poke.
No.
Seems to stand strong.
Come with me.
On the wall, just straight firebolt.
Just some dust unsettles and you're like for a second, and it's just a slight indent in the wall.
This bit's strong, boys. I'm just gonna head towards those two doorways now.
Okay, well there's one to the left and one to the right. Where do you wish to go?
Two of us and two of you.
Flip a coin. I don't have any money there. Let's make that clear.
Do you boys, I'll go whichever way we go.
Excuse me.
Which way we want to go, we'll go that way. Never mind.
Left.
Left is best.
Is back home an option? Is it an option?
No, thanks.
There is like a small, like circular runes on the floor from about where you guys sort of approached, and when you guys sort of, when you walk to it with the tablet, it does once again like vibrate and start to light up before you guys fully approach the circular ruins.
Can you get the tablet out and put it next to the ruins?
Just starts to slightly vibrate, but it doesn't. Keeps on vibrating. I mean, if you want to fully like approach the ruins, you can do.
Have you tried blowing out the back?
I'll do it. Yeah, I'll go through and see if I can.
I don't know if this is the right time to let you know, but I did bring my harmonica with me.
Yeah, so you walk up to it with the tablet, the floor, and Tollbar disappears in like a small flash of light, and the dancing lights. You guys are dropped into darkness, and you appear back inside the Guardian Stone.
What? The same what?
Mm.
Can I turn around and go?
And he comes back.
No, I want my arrows!
I've gone back in, yeah?
Yeah, you're back in.
Yo, boys, this is amazing to watch. And I'm going to do it
You just keep on doing it.
You don't know what could go wrong here.
Because anything happened to me, am I alright?
Make me a Constitution save.
Shit.
You done that yourself.
Nat 20, nothing's happening, boys. I'm alright.
You're fine.
Give me
You're
a
having
look.
too much fun.
I'm alright, I'm good.
You're having too much fun. You're not concentrating on how you feel, and you're just having fun.
Right, there's options to go back, but I'm quite interested to see if there's any more of this crazy shit through those two doors. And I say left.
Left.
Yeah, let's go.
Left.
I've never put dancing lights on, so this room's like properly on now.
I've
Okay.
got,
Yeah,
I've
that's
got,
fine.
I've got a flame in my hand that gives 10-foot dim light.
If we find
I'll get
any
the rest.
jewels, they're mine.
You can split for us.
I don't want to be here.
Go on then.
No, I want jewels.
Yes, we're left.
So you guys all have left.
Mm-hmm.
You go through the door archway and head through, and you are heading through a tunnel sort of stone corridor, similarly built to the hallway which you initially came into, and it is quite dusty, but still well built and intact. And you head on through this corridor and tunnel, and it sort of weaves to the left as you walk down only for like a minute or so straight on, once again weaves to the right, and then to the left as you sort of like, as if you're going around sort of like a corner, and you head straight on, and as you head on through to this next room, it's this once again this sort of large hall-like room. As you sort of light up the space, you are met with this large, long stone dining table with these stone seats and benches all like lining up the sides of it. At the very end of the room, you can see this great hearth almost taking up the entire space of this back wall, and it's a large room about 45 about 45 feet long, and it's this quite large space, and once again stone walls all built, and compared to everything else that's built like almost like brick, all laid out stone, the wall immediately facing you as you walk in, sort of like the western wall, is this smooth stone, but a large engraving takes up the entire space, and it's like an engraving of a depiction of these similar sort of like guardian-like warriors that you saw the statues of, armed with blade and spear on the left, and almost like battling these monstrous entities on the very right, and the engraving and the work on this is beautiful. It is like nothing you've ever seen. It must have taken years to complete, and it just takes up this entire wall, and this is really the room from the looks of it. There's like again once again there's small piles of rubble all going around, and although the table and chairs look untouched, they're still slightly worn just simply from time. Once again, there's no light on this room apart from your dancing lights and the flame in your hand. And you notice now that the smell of this place is of like dust and time and wear. And it is eerily quiet as well. Not a sound. You don't notice a single sound in the space, and any like whisper or cough that you guys make echoes throughout the place, and it is heard by you in greater volume. So what do you guys wish to do?
2 questions.
Mm.
This dining table and chairs, are they relative to like me and Charlotte?
Say that.
As in, like, are they normal size, or are we talking a bit bigger than?
They seem to be average size, like slightly larger than average, but nothing like sort of like particularly large. It doesn't look like they're particularly meant for any particular large people. From the looks of it.
If this was like really nice and clean,
And lit.
then you can just use torches. It's easy. I'd rather live here all day, every day.
It's dusty.
That's why I need to clean it. Used to be cleaned like 3 days worth.
Do you think people lived here before?
There's a dining table, so probably. Wouldn't surprise me. I like the idea of living here though.
I like
I
it.
quite enjoy this space. It's quite quiet.
Hideout.
Secret hideout. Yes. I love that.
What do we need to keep secret from everyone?
This place.
Either let what?
Excuse me?
What?
Uh-huh.
This engraved at the back. Is it just picture or any sort of language on it as well?
You can make an investigation check. You're quite far away from it at the moment. You've only just sort of entered the space.
Can I move closer?
Investigation check. Go for it. Yeah, make an investigation check or a perception check. Either way.
What would you prefer? Perception or investigation?
Up to you. It depends how thorough you want to go for it, really.
Investigation could be a 14.
Right. Okay. Looking as far as you can, like walking sort of across quite close to the sort of wall art. There doesn't appear to be any engravings or writing. Just appears to be this engraving dedicated to this arch for this entire space of wall.
Okay.
No language that at least not none that you can like notice or know of.
What's the tablet
Within the
doing?
wall.
On pull tablet doesn't know.
Not vibrating, not lighting up. Standing still.
Bastard.
Okay.
Well, I'm done here, boys. What do you want to do?
Go through the other door.
Is there no other doorways in this building? This
To
area?
your right, as you walk in, there is another sort of archway. You notice now that these tunnels you've been going through, like the seats are fairly normal size, but these archways, they look like that they are large, quite tall, as if they've been built for not just average sized people coming through. Either this is for decoration for grandeur, or it's for practical purposes. I'm
Grandeur,
not quite sure.
Maybe they have really long necks.
Already big legs.
Well, yeah. No, actually, wait. No, I think the necks works. Because you know how they've got normal sized chairs there, and these doors are like really tall. You don't need.
Yeah, they're like this. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Exactly.
big necks. Big necks.
So, neck people.
Neck people.
Yeah. Wait.
Easy to strike, just the neck. It's quick.
These people on this mural don't look like they have big necks.
What if they just
Have they got big
folded
necks for the
it?
mural?
They do not.
Bastard, no big necks.
Maybe people just like big things.
Maybe they were quite what's I'm looking for?
They're
Quite
compensating for things.
Compensating for things, or they were quite embarrassed that they had long necks and just dumped it down on the engravings.
It will be a bit of a weakness.
Maybe.
Just a quick swipe or.
Do you think maybe they could like retract their necks for combat? Because it's kind of.
Oh yeah.
If it's kind of a.
Maybe that's why they died out, because they had long necks.
And easy
Yeah.
claim, and yeah, easy claim you can break them if you retract them back and like a
Sounds likely. I've done that with my. Never mind.
I didn't
Yeah,
know.
well, we'll start with that next door.
This is,
Okay, you go into the door to the right as you walk in.
With this one, I want to keep about 8% of the light on me and all the guys, and send some for the door.
That's fine.
See if anything comes from it.
Cool. Yep. So you head down this other sort of doorway, and you can down this corridor for longer than the other one before you sort of have to take a right, turning As you look ahead, the lights up further and further up the space as you walk for a good 10 or so minutes. You walk down this corridor and sort of just lights up further and further of space before you take another right turn, walk for a little bit longer down these sort of corridors. Once again, there are these sort of like signs of this rubble and wear and tear as you sort of head through all these tunnels. And this is, even as you go through, it's consistently the same sort of height. And as you walk on at the very sort of coming, like you can see ahead as the light lights up, you're coming to the end of this particular tunnel, and the sort of doorway opens up to another space. Did you want to?
I was like, I have the tablet out of me in my hand as I'm walking.
Yeah, okay. It's staying still at the moment.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so you approach the doorway, and as you do, the light sort of dimly lights this other space. It's again fairly not as large as the sort of dining room sort of area or the hall, but still a fairly large room. And if you want to head in, you're more than welcome to. At the moment, you can't really see much what's going on in there. Apart from that, it just seems to be quite a large space. The light aren't really lighting up the area very well at the moment from where you guys are standing.
I'm getting tired. I'm gonna go first. See if I can find any treasure.
As we walk in, I'm just going to hold Earth about 5 foot in front of the doorway, just a little bit of cover.
Okay. You sort of end up behind it, sending the other lights, and it's kind of lights up the space, and as it does, it's lights up the room, and you see these metal forms sort of being lit up, and you see these giant metallic, almost like warriors, similar to the ones that you've seen in the statue forms, but a lot larger, broader, but unarmed this time. No shields, no spears or swords, just standing, arms to the side, made almost looking entirely of metal. You're all behind cover at the moment. This is all what you can see from your moment.
I'm going in
How
front.
big are they? They're about 10 foot tall each.
Critkit, can you do anything with this?
I
These
can
look
try.
quite technical. That's what's my problem.
I try.
That's a shout.
The big people.
Yeah, but they don't have necks on them. Or do they have?
Can we get in like a massive?
I'm not interested in
I
being
kind
one
of
of
just
those.
have a look in one of the cracks of the armor and see what's kind of inside.
Okay, and then an investigation check, yeah.
You fucked me over. I've not used this one yet. It's higher than all my previous rolls, apart from the first one. Investigation, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
11, 12.
If I can read, plus a 6, that's a 12.
12.
12. That's silent.
Right, okay. So you take out your tools and sort of
Useless.
lightly try and open it up. And your thought process is that surely there's something keeping this thing sort of like up and upright, and you can see that they're just inside. Doesn't appear like where you're looking in the light in its kneecap at the moment. You're sort of looking in. Doesn't appear to be anything. Just seems to be like space from what you can see. A moment in sort of like suit of armor sort of looking thing.
Yeah, it's got nothing in. Hang on, I get a better look. I want to try and like pop the kneecap off.
Flies off, and you sort of looking inside. Right, you can now like looking like sticking your head in sneak up.
Can I,
and looking up.
can I throw a dancing light with him?
Yeah, you've got some light now to look in, so you've got a better sight. I'm just going to sort of looking up, and looking through, you can see similar runes on the inside of the armor, engraved on the inside of it.
Wait. What if they're like the same height as dwarves? Right? But they all sit on each other's shoulders so they can fit in these suits of armour.
It could be goblins as well then.
Yeah, that's the point. Anyone with the shortsy boys.
The Schultzy boys.
Hey, they kept the inside of these really clean.
Is my tablet doing anything?
No, not at the moment, no. But you can see that on Altered Armor, now that you're sort of looking through now, sort of heading through this room, that there is a similar kind of stone all embedded in the chest of each of these.
So the tablet.
Keep that
Yeah.
away
I'm just
from
gonna
where
just
I
like
am.
show you like pocket it.
It's not rating at the moment.
I'm not risking it.
Yeah, and so you sort of like then looking through and sort of like trying to see better, and you can see if you can like take memory of these sort of ruins as you're looking through. And they're also like different. There's no like consistent symbols. They all seem to be different, but they all seem to be consistent in the sense that it's the same sort of order. As you look at, there's like different lines all going up, and then the same sort of order sort of going on. You try to look up, sort of move it around, shift it more and more. Maybe a dexterity saving throw.
Oh.
Oh. You could roll it.
Say goodbye to your name.
Oh.
Ah, it's even higher. Dex saving throw, it's a 12.
And this suit armor, you feel it, you feel its weight before you feel it coming down on top of you. And then the suit armor just collapses fully.
Collapsed, okay.
And I'm going to say that you take 6 points of bludgeoning damage as this suit of armor lands on top of you.
I'm gonna roll it. Cricket! I'm trying to start pull the armour that's in the city, see if I can get anything off.
Yeah, so you move off the scraps of armour, and you see Cricket just in a little crumple underneath this armour.
Fuck's sake!
You're to blame for this.
As I've run over, actually, as I pull the last bit of armour off Cricket.
Why the fuck did you come rescue me? You have the tablet!
Can I? How many of these? How many of these big armors are they?
There was 6. Now there's about 5 intact.
5. Are any of them missing a stone tablet in the middle of their chest?
Give me a quick perception check.
Which one's been good for me? These ones.
I want to be away from whoever's got her hands
14.
on the stone.
No, they all seem to have the stone in the chest. Yeah, so you all sort of gather around Cricket and all sort of like help him shift off the arm and try and get him out of it. And as you do, you just hear from behind.
Shit.
You look behind and you see like creaking and almost like sounding like rust. One of the armour is sort of lit up with the same kind of light that the Guardian Stone did, and it's coming towards all you guys. Roll me initiative.
Boy!
Oh god.
Ooh!
Right, I rolled bad initiative this time.
Ooh.
Maybe I'll roll good.
What'd you get?
That's even worse
Oh,
than
no.
that one.
Oh.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Oh, I need to figure out how a spell works.
Is it just the one time?
Yeah.
Andy.
Right. Okay. So 25 to 20.
Nat 20 plus 2.
Ooh,
Oh, nice.
some spice.
Some spice in that one, I mean.
Oh god. See, even in real life I've got high dex. Call that fly.
Right. So I'm assuming Josh, you're at the top of it with that roll then.
I would hope so.
Right. Okay. 15 to 20.
18.
Nice.
Oh, I've got it here. What an nonce. Oh.
Okay. And 10 to 15. Ouch.
It's not from me,
5 to
though.
10.
You want to go
1 to
first?
5.
Oh, I was going to
Two.
say 8.
Oh.
I thought Charlie got higher.
I got one, I got 2.
Oh, there's my boss.
My arcane shots.
Oh,
Right. Okay. Tolbot, you're first.
how far away is this dude?
Only about 10 feet away from you now. Let me lay out the map.
There's your D4.
So all of you sort of in a cluster at the moment, and things coming like right
I-
towards you.
I-
This is you, yeah?
That's me, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
On the
And
last one.
Cricket, that's you, yeah?
Yeah.
So you're
Is he
probably like
prone? I
there.
don't want to go
He
to
is
that kind of
at the
guy.
moment, Yeah, he is prone. It's only about 10 feet away from you.
10 feet? Fuck, okay.
What do you want to do, Tolbot? Things come down you. And it's slow, but because it's sort of like was close anyway, and it sort of got the drop on you, it's close.
Fuck it. I'm gonna grab my crystal and just kind of pull it off, and just like you just see it form into hand. I'm just gonna cast lightning bolt.
Lightning bolt. Okay. Does it need to make a
It's a dex
throw?
saving throw.
Right. Okay.
Tell me you get it, so it could be it. Tell anyone, but it's like that.
That'll be a 6. I'm assuming that fails.
Yeah, it fails. Yeah.
Okay. Roll me damage then.
Which is I need. Oh, no, let's do this instead. What is it? Okay, so was that 6, 9, 19, 21, 26,
Okay.
and then that's 34 points of lava damage.
Hey.
And also,
Blast onto it, and it does take a chunk out of his arm and goes, goes through it.
what am I doing? Yeah. It's not flammable, is it?
No.
No, nothing flammable in the area? No. It is a level 3 spell though, Tom.
Okay.
Oh dear.
Yeah, roll for 1.
Yes!
Or no.
Gods, please, please.
You tell me
You're
in
going to turn me into a sheep.
What do I get?
10.
Oh, bastard.
Okay.
Mate, that's annoying.
It's either
It
a
takes you
nat
by
one or a
surprise and you do a
20.
Homer Simpson scream, so yeah. While magic is going through you as you get surprised. Stanley, if that's your go.
Is that it?
That's your go.
It's just
That's your
chunk
go.
out.
That's your
No,
go.
it's not. That's
It's not killed it, no.
bastard.
I mean, you're taking a big old chunk out of it.
Looks like I'm cousin. I'm getting the boys, but again, away from me. Well, actually, hold on.
Standing
Try
with
and. Is he 10 feet? Am I out of range of him? What kind of schedule that? And taking a.
I mean, he's
What can I do back?
Mm,
I'm thinking he's big and I don't want him to.
yeah, at the moment you could probably get. He's not engaged with you yet, so you
Okay,
can
so
probably
I'll do
go
back. 1. Is that 2?
Behind the prone boy.
3.
Well, you can jump over me, can't you? I'm like
Take a step over a
I'm
3
tiny.
foot boy.
tiny boy.
You get a bit of range from him.
Right, okay.
I'm
Yeah,
done,
that's
yeah.
fine.
You know.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, Standy, what do you want to do?
Right, so it's going to be spin around, quickly roll this way
Mm-hmm.
a bit.
Yep.
And then it's going to be an arrow to the face, sharpshooter. Nope. This is going to be another arrow to the face.
Sharpshooter.
Be another arrow to the face.
Yep.
I didn't put sharpshooter on that, so it's 22.
That does hit. Yep, roll me damage.
5, 10 damage.
10 damage. Nice. Okay, nice. Right. Okay. There you go.
Action surge.
Action
surge.
That's that
It's
good
good.
shit. That's
2 more
that,
arrows.
that's that crap.
Go for it.
2 more arrows. Sharpshooter.
Oh, yeah.
Sharpshooter. No. 22.
Yeah, that'll hit.
Okay, nice. 6, 16. 21 damage.
Oof. Nice. Okay, so
And then
just 4 straight arrows. One in, one through its helmet, and one through its just
Oh,
like
also
a crack into the
throw in
stone.
the small as well, so that's 5 more damage.
Right. Okay. Cool.
Right, no, I'm
I'm just not letting
You
off.
see, it's just like going slower and slower as you're laying the shots into it. It is the statue's go. Right. Okay.
Here we go, boys.
It's going to go over to you guys. It's going to
Multi-attack.
Oh, hello there.
right. Okay. So the first one with its giant metal arm, Cricket is going to. You're going to try and slam into you with advantage as you are prone. That'll be a 15 to hit.
Oh, that is my armor class. Hit me, daddy. Smack me, daddy.
Sure. Stop. Right. Okay.
I'm so
Doesn't have a weapon though, so technically.
I'm so jealous you fucking put so
That'll be
so
13 points of bludgeoning damage.
How many points?
13. And you see, as its other metal arm sort of shifts into this metal blade, and it goes to. I'm going for you, Charlie. Right, okay. That will be a 16 to hit.
Yeah, that is.
Okay. And you take. That would be 12 points of slashing damage as its sword cuts into your chest.
How are you doing? Not good.
Yeah, and it reels back, ready for its next attack. But first, Cricket, you'll go. As it's just like slams you more further into the ground.
I like frantically start looking in my bag and go, mayo, 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 mayo. And I take out a vial
Okay.
and I pop it out. And this tiny jumping spider crawls on my arm.
Cool.
I take another vial and I pour it on it and I just launch it. And it grows in size to a medium-sized creature.
So basically a medium-sized
my best
spider.
friend Mayo.
I'm assuming it's going straight on this this
No,
statue.
it'll go.
Can we
Put
use
it here.
D4
Put it
to
here.
represent.
It'll jump. It'll
Nice,
go there. And everyone within 10 feet gets temporary HP.
Oh, nice.
Sick.
Um,
with it.
let's find out. 5 plus my intelligence bonus, so that's
so
8, I believe.
So who will get that then? Will that be everyone or?
5, 10. 5.
Does that include the dude we're
No.
trying to kill?
No, it's whoever I
Just allies.
It's
Does that
allies.
include me?
Should do.
Yeah.
5,
You're right.
10.
You're right next to him.
I'm there.
Yeah.
It's
No,
from,
that's
from,
not-
from the
Oh, from the spider. Oh, okay.
Oh, hang on. Let's see if it's a sphere or a square. Within 10 feet. Guess not.
Within 10
Down.
feet.
You gotta,
Okay,
you gotta,
so-
you gotta rush on back. boy.
So yeah, so
I'd
everyone,
better,
so
turn
everyone,
into
everyone
a
but Krugar gets
commander.
benefit from that. So 8 hit points, temporary hit points. Did you say?
Yeah.
Eight-
yes,
eight temporary
8.
hit points,
8
nice.
temporary hit
Okay,
points.
cool.
I'll add that.
Okay, is that your go quicker or is
Oh,
is
no,
there more
that's
to
my
come?
bonus action.
Oh,
Oh,
Then I'm gonna
Yeah.
pull out my tiny ass little hand axe
yep.
and I'm just gonna hit him.
Tom,
Make me an attack roll.
natural one.
6
fuck.
plus 6, that's 12. It's stuck?
Yep.
I'll do it again then. But I let go of the axe, I hold my hand back, and it's the glove.
Okay.
And it magnetizes the axe, and it launches back into my axe. I hit him again with it.
I'm
Maybe
still
another
worthy!
Big number, it's a less number. It's a lesser number. It's not a good number.
You caused another chunk, but
I don't even. I just keep letting go. I don't.
I've been
You're dark
asshole
rolls,
this
man.
whole time.
Krugar, you're up.
Do the animal thing.
I'm doing
The
that.
animal thing.
I
Smell.
become a giant badger.
You don't got a bear!
Do you
You
want
don't got a bear!
You want to be a giant badger? You can be a giant badger.
Can you turn into that? Is that within your CR?
It's a medium beast,
Is that within your CR
and it
rating?
is giant badger.
Quarter.
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 Brown bear better.
What druid are you? You a moon or a
I
shadow?
went the
You mean like
one
you were proper
that's got
druid,
an
not-
extra CR.
That's
Oh,
the
the
moon
druid.
Yeah, the only one.
The druid. The druid. So technically, you can probably turn into a brown bear by now. Or
Oh yeah, definitely. Level 5 moon druid, yeah.
or a black bear,
brown bear's better. I
or a
think.
giant
bears are
goat.
You're a giant goat!
You can turn into a tiger as well. All the beasts are in the back here, by the way.
Yo, Tom, do the
No,
Demogorgon.
brown bear's trying to go in one, isn't it?
Yeah, you can
Demogorgon.
go with Demogorgon is in more than
Oh,
kind,
yeah.
is it? Yeah.
Can go
That's
one.
some intense
Yeah.
shit, the Demogorgon, so yeah,
It's
that's
like
more
become
than
a
kind.
direwolf. Yeah, boy.
I don't think is a direwolf even a beast.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a beast,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's just a big version, but it wasn't.
A big fur boy.
Stick dire in front of anything, it just becomes bigger.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just a bigger thing.
Or put the word giant in and also becomes bigger, such as giant goat.
Does that mean a giant is just a dire man?
Yes,
Canon, is that canon?
Still-
it is now.
Die, man.
Die man.
Okay, I become a brown bear.
Ooh.
And you shift into bear form. What do you want to do, boy?
Like 28 attacks, wouldn't you? Didn't need a bear.
Yeah, they do get a lot.
Stupid like that.
I want to
Run away.
multi-attack.
Yeah, okay, go for it. Then roll for attack. You've got a bite and a claw attack, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay, go for your 2 attacks then.
Big rolls, big rolls. Nat 2 and Nat 5.
Ooh.
Plus your strength, and it's what's his 5 on a brown
Uh,
bear?
It says plus to hit on there,
Yeah,
whatever
plus
it
5
is.
to hit.
So
So
10 and
10 and 7.
7.
Just scrapes off the armor, you do. don't seem to cause any damage to it, unfortunately. Is that your go up then? Because that was your bonus action and your action to attack, I'm assuming, because it's your bonus action to shift. Okay, cool. Right. Tolbar, you're
Well,
up.
I think I still got a flame in my hand. Possibly.
In there for
Possibly.
That's what the Moon Druid's about. You cast a spell and you concentrate on it, and then you
It's
continue
not
to.
concentration spell, so I just got it.
Is the
It's a cantrip, so it's not.
is the spider in my line of sight? Is it right in front of me?
Yeah. But it's like a weird spider. It's not like a natural spider.
I might just go lightning bolt again, boys. Let's do that again.
Wait, what are you doing to my spider?
No, I'm going to do lightning bolt. However, I'm going to meta magic my boy and do careful spell, so it doesn't hit anybody.
But
Different to me.
the statue.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Go for it. I'm assuming it's roll to attack, isn't it, for lightning bolt?
I can't remember
Lightning
what's now.
bolts, dex save for it.
No, dex save throw, yeah.
Right. Okay. Cool.
There comes the DL screen.
I've never cast that spell before.
That'll be a 9, so I'm assuming that fails.
Does not hit
So
at all.
back from the penalty box.
So yeah, so he takes
Right.
4 damage. So roll
So-
damage for me.
4. 10. 15. 15 plus 24 points of lightning damage. And
Right.
again, it's a level 3 spell.
I'm gonna say because you've got more control of yourself now and
But
more
can
focused in
I-
battle, you are fine.
Can
You
I
don't need to roll for one.
aim towards a tablet chest, please?
Yeah, you can send it in for that. There was already a crack in it from one of Standy's arrows. Yeah, so you focus in it, and it streaks through the air and goes straight through his chest, and the stone cracks from the impact, and the metal buckles in its chest and goes straight through. And as it does, whatever magic and light was holding it intact just all the metal just clatters across the floor.
That's 2 for 2, boys.
Just, you whack that thing with the might of Zeus.
Sick.
I want to check.
Right.
Well,
Right, I want my arrows back this time. Are they intact?
Make me an investigation check.
21.
21. Okay.
I found it. I fired 4 at it.
Yeah, roll me a d4. You find 1 arrow intact, unfortunately. The
well, it
others
didn't
broke.
hit.
The others broke.
I'm going to start writing
I
there.
have mending, if that helps.
You get on your little. What do you say? What do you say?
What? I don't feel that's all coming out of all until
I
today.
have mending.
You find the piece of the arrows and you
Yes.
clean up. You get 3.
Although I'm still a bear, so he's going to have to hold on to it.
He tries communicating to you in bear form that he can fix them.
Mending is really
You think
useful
he's trying to
because, it heals my spines.
I'll use my crazy diamond.
Okay, cool. So the dust clears, the statue is seemingly lifeless, and the other ones seem still and long inactive from the looks of it. Looking now sort of further in at this room, you can see out on the very end, once again, 2 doorways, one to the left, one to the right. What do we should do?
Any chance you can take those tablets off all the other ones?
I can try, I guess.
Okay,
Alright.
maybe a
I'm
tinker's
on a
check.
mould
I'll say
of
that's a.
underneath him and fire you up.
I'll say that's a D. Yeah, what I'm assuming for a tinker as well, it's probably either intelligence plus your proficiency than a D20.
I don't remember.
Roll for it.
Well, it's not good.
Come on.
Plus your intelligence plus your proficiency bonus. See what you can.
Yeah, it's a 9.
Try and, there seems to be something else like holding us together, not just like whatever can. Right,
What's my tablet doing?
I'm really
Taking a
hungover,
moment to
guys.
keep
You
it
can't
quiet.
find me.
Tablet's keeping quiet at the moment, the one that you've got, and you can't seem to get the stones out of any of the chests. They all seem to be held in pretty firmly, even though they've been inactive.
So best off leaving then before no one at least comes alive.
Okay, that's fine. You want to carry on? Okay, where do you want to head? Do you want to head
Left
through the
or
left doorway or the right doorway?
Right, fuck it, let's go left.
Want to go left? You
My
okay?
spider just hops forward with me on it.
Sick.
Okay.
It's so cool.
Yeah, so you sort of lead the
The
way
walls.
with the dance.
Jumping spider, so she goes.
Keeps jumping on and leads the way through the left doorway. And I'm assuming you're using your dancing lights
Yeah,
to
one on May
Yeah.
and Bun, and then
and light
the
the
rest
way.
of them.
Yeah, and you follow on behind. And it leads you down another corridor. Once again, the same sort of height as the others, and you head on through. And you're walking down this one for a good 10 or so minutes before you're coming to a right turn and head further down.
Then my spider disappears and I face plant. And then he wobbles back up my arm.
Can't say for
back in
everything.
a flask.
Okay, and then you head.
He's always been on this. Ever since birth.
Male is a good boy.
Uh-huh.
The best boy.
Take your word for it.
Oh no, wait, Maya's female.
Gender neutral, don't worry.
Okay, so you head further down this right turn, further down the hallway, and the light sort of reaches the very end of it, and it appears to reach a dead end. But as you reach the very end of this corridor, you see another circular ruin on the ground, and you feel a slight vibration come from the tablet in your pocket as you approach it close to it.
I'm just going to full on sprint with this tablet.
You're gonna go over separate from the group.
What are you doing?
Light takes him, and the dancing lights go out,
I'm knocking
and
an arrow.
you're in darkness. And yeah, so Josh.
Shit, sorry boys. I'm to regret this decision right now.
Yeah, so-
Instantly regret what I just did.
So Tolbog, you're surrounded by darkness, and instantly, and ahead of you, you see another hallway leading the way as you're standing on the still lit up circular ruin beneath
Yeah, I'm
you.
jumping right back.
When he sort of comes back, I'm assuming you well, no, you wouldn't have been able to see in bear form. You guys are still still in darkness.
Dance lights up.
Yes, so and you see Standy, that he's sort of got an arrow knocked, and he's sort of looking down the hallway where you guys came, and you sort of appear back in, and everyone looks a little bit tense that you left.
Boys, let's go. We're up.
Alright.
You all step onto the ruin, and light takes you again, and you go into the other hallway, and it appears to just lead downward. This stone
Completely darkness.
hallway. Well, using your dancing
Apart
lights,
from- yeah.
obviously, as far as they can go, appears to be darkness. Seems to be a fairly long hallway. This one.
Right, so we're going to walk forward, but I want the dancing lights to be like 5 feet, 5 feet like above us, like constantly just following us, so we've got at least good
Yeah, good
view
range.
from front. Yeah.
Yeah, so you head further on down this hallway. Yeah, so it leads you straight on, sort of in a straight, and you're heading down this hallway for quite a while. And
Temporary hit points are gone, boys.
yeah, so you head further on before you it takes you down a right turning. And yeah, you sort of as you're heading down this for a couple more minutes down this, as it takes you down the right turn. It meets you at a crossroads. So you guys, another hallway going left, and the one going right. Which way do you want to go?
I want to go left again.
I'm going to pull my tablet out and see if we get any indication.
No vibration coming from it.
Are you
Do you want
sure?
to go left? Yes.
Has anyone been keeping track of which way they've been going?
No.
I'm gonna morph back.
Go back into your bugbear form. Okay. So, you guys going left
I
or
kept
right?
track at the beginning. But since then already. We went into a room over there.
Thanks for that.
And then we went right 3 times and I got confused because I thought we were back at the beginning, but we weren't.
Right, Kruger, thanks for that, mate. Do you want to go back into bear form, or you
Okay.
really...
Then we teleport at least some point along this journey. Yeah. Still, there's no point keeping track of where we were going, really.
Let's go
We
left.
can just run backwards and we'll end up in the same way.
Okay.
We're gonna go left.
Okay, you go left, and it takes you down further down a hallway. And this time it's a bit of a short travel for this one. Takes you down a left, and then sort of a right turning, and then shortly after that another sharp sort of left. You carry on for a little while longer, before it takes you around sort of short corner, and as the light lights up the space, it is another dead end, with another circular ruin sort of carved into the stone floor. But this time there is like a crack in the floor, and it's sort of like broken in half. This circular ruin on the floor.
How bad is it cracked? Are we talking just like one crack or multiple cracks?
Quite a large crack, like it's right in between it.
So it's one single crack, just large.
Yeah.
Can I mould earth in between the crack?
Yeah. It comes back forth, but there's still a massive crack in between it. You can still tell it was there.
So as in I've not filled it completely?
No. Well, as in like, I'm assuming you tried to do it so like you try and shift it back so it was touching.
Yeah.
But yeah, you do that, and it's fine. It's like touching once again, but you can still tell there was a crack in between it. Like it's back together, but still a crack in between.
Okay.
I'm gonna cast Cure Wounds at second level on myself.
Cool. Yeah. Okay. Roll for the health. Okay.
It's not working, boys. Should we head back and go take that right so straight on, or?
Any more over there? Heal. Oh.
No. Anything else in this room?
Turning back.
Anything else in this
It
room?
was just a dead end. It's still at this hallway. What do you guys want to do?
Other way.
Head back, yeah. Go the other way.
Check the walls.
Okay, make me a perception check. Or
Big roll,
investigation.
please.
If it's higher than a 10, right, I can praise the gods. Oh,
Oh, that's a nice roll.
investigation, you say?
First plus roll.
That's big numbers. That's 22.
Ooh.
That's finally a big number.
Nice. Okay, so
I really regret choosing some of these infusions now.
so investigating the walls, you can see that this particular area looks like it was affected quite badly. Whatever caused the sort of damage that was going on in this place. Like, there's a lot more sort of rubble, especially near the area where the massive crack in the ruin was, and a fair amount of dust, whatever disturbed this place and whatever made the or whatever caused the damage. But apart from that, it's just the dead end of the hallway.
Alright, Critkit. Let's go, mate. Cool.
He mumbles to himself, and you guys head on back. You guys head on through like the sort of winds and turns of this hallway, and you're back again at the sort of crossroads where you were. So either right back the way you came, or straight on. The
Straight on.
direction
So it was
in
the
your-
right that we did take last time.
Yes. Yeah. So you guys head straight on, and it takes you guys are a straight sort of hallway once again, and about 10 minutes of travel down this way takes you down a left turning. Once again, carrying on down this corridor, lighting up the place, and as it does, you see a small form in the sort of like at the very edge of the wall as you're heading down this corridor. As you head closer and closer to it, you see that it's like this small skeleton form. You head closer to it, and in this sort of like patchwork, there's like this like sort of like break in the stone where it's just this earth in the walls, sort of like this small breakage, and you can see like these small like holes that are sort of like they were dug out from the very walls, and you see this sort of small little form that looked like it was at some point an animal, a living creature. What do you guys wish to do?
I bet it's still alive.
Does it look clean?
Make me a.
We can't renegade, mate. It's gonna stand up.
Survival
And it's
nature
gonna kill
check.
us.
Oh, that's a big roll again.
Yeah, it's a survival or what did you say?
Survival or nature, up to you.
I'm going to take that nature and make it an 18.
Nice. Okay. It appears you've studied animals quite a lot in your time, and it's probably one of your main sort of
Probably someone you
interests.
experimented on before.
Exactly. It's one of your main interests, and that's why you sort of like creatures like Mayo and that sort of thing so much, and you've studied lots of creatures in your time. And this appears to be the remains of a mole, and what's strange is that its
So
bones are stripped fully clean of any flesh, and there is no dirt or dust laying on any of these stones.
Nice. I unroll like a burlap sack and go clicky clack in the sack.
Okay, you collect the skeleton remains of this poor mole.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Do you guys wish to carry on
I missed
Around the area where this well, have you told us it's a mole yet, Cricket, or not? Have you told us it's a mole?
Now just put it in the sack.
Okay. So after seeing Cricket put this scan in the sack, is there anything? You mentioned the walls have got holes in. Are they big holes?
They appear to be small holes, the same sort of size that this creature was from the looks of it. Looks like this creature dug its way in.
for him.
He's called Mr. Rattlebones.
Go through, then it just gets like smaller and smaller, and eventually you just like lose sight of the light, and it just dims out. Can't see any further than that. Looks like it was just dug out by this mole. Let's get away.
Talking outside the game here, must be on the ground then, if there's more in the station.
Okay, unless
Because moles have come down.
through the roof.
Unless they're like they're angel moles that come down like and dig through the.
We don't know,
Like talking normally, a mole digs down underground.
I mean, we teleported at the beginning.
Yeah.
And we can teleport at the beginning. We could be anywhere. We could be in a mountain.
Good point. That's a good point. We could have gone right from here to there.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm just going to press on them.
All right. Okay.
Not much knowledge we can find here.
Yeah. So you guys.
Mr. Rattlebones.
So, you guys press on, going forward down this hallway. And it's a fairly long hallway, this one. And you head on further through before you eventually come to another left turn, and it's not too long before you're heading down this one before you reach another doorway to the left-hand side of you. Looking through using the dancing light, you can see it's another fairly large space in this room. It appears to be actually surprisingly plain, this one. And you can see at the very end of it, just from where you guys are, the very edge of this doorway, there is another doorway sort of to the very end of this room, and another one going to the right.
You know, I'm sorry, I don't want to live here.
Yeah, it's quite eerie. I second that. It's too many doors for my liking.
Sweet, I get it all to myself.
Yeah, full of it.
Is this room plain? Is there anything else in this room apart from
Maybe a perception check.
cocked? That's a 15.
15.
Yes, Mayo is
Okay.
I did write that way.
So,
There's also an
this
entrance.
room looks fairly plainish. It looks like maybe this room is just some sort of spare room used by whatever area this sort of level was in this place. But what's strange is that compared to the rest of the place, where there's like dust or webs or rubble, this room is completely clean and completely spotless.
Oh, I love it.
It's a bit too plain in there, boys.
I think it's perfect. I was like, on the floor.
Yeah, you just rub it and not a speck of dust ends up on your hand.
See,
What's the tablet doing right now?
At the moment, it's staying fairly quiet from where you guys are.
Seem fairly quiet.
As in, it's not vibrating
Oh,
or
okay.
giving you any movement. At the moment.
Bit concerned there's more than us in there now, boys. Someone's been sprung clear.
Yeah, we could always just go back to town and tell Brenner that there ain't nothing.
Nope, we've gone too far. I want jewels.
Okay.
Where's the fun in that?
Not dying.
Touche. Touche.
We've not died yet. Yeah, but who's to say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's to say we won't die?
I don't know. We might not.
Can you fix my arrows?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Medicinal. Is that a divination check or what?
It was a polite question.
Will you fix my arrows?
Please, will you fix my arrows? Please.
Do you fix his arrows?
Yeah.
Make him beg.
Easily enough, you cast the cantrip and your arrows are fixed.
Make him
Give me a second, I'm going to quickly make sure this is still recording, because I have no idea what's going on with it. Hey, you want to
Okay, nice.
Yeah, we're still good. Yeah, we
That's staying in, by the way. That's staying in.
that's when we cut back into that.
Long way through it.
Yeah, we march on forward then, I suppose, boys.
Yeah, so heading into the room. Like I say, this room is fairly small compared to the rest of them. But onward there is a doorway, and then to the right as well, to you both, and to you all is a doorway as well. Where do you wish to head?
Sorry, Tom. What was that mean?
There's a doorway either going onward or right. And there's
Through the doorway.
Fucking doorways.
Through the doorway.
which one?
Wait, I'm tired, right? I'm just gonna walk. I'm just gonna keep going. Whatever direction I'm in. I go through
Question: can I constantly use mold earth just to like carry me?
Every 6
We've
seconds.
had this discussion.
Every 6
seconds you can move 5 feet.
So
No point.
Yeah, no, there's really not. You might as
All
well.
right, it's like
Actually,
Yeah.
you can't.
can I use mold earth to just make a little mound? Don't worry. A little mound as a trail as the direction we've come from.
That's not a bad shout.
That isn't actually a bad idea. Okay.
pitch it for that.
Instead
Give
of
me a
dropping
smack.
breadcrumbs,
Alright, Hansel.
making a little mound.
What do they
6
hold?
seconds.
Does it hold? Is it like concentration?
Yeah.
No,
So
it
it
just
stays
happens.
there forever once you've moved it.
So, so yeah,
So that
so,
means back then there's like a massive 5 foot mound in front of that doorway.
Unless you just reduce it again.
Oh,
so Cricket, you just walk straight on, and like going over into the group, and the rest of you,
Remember to open the door
yeah,
before you walk into it.
the rest of you
Follow.
follow on, and Krugar, you sort of like start leading a trail of earth, like where you guys have come from, and you guys head forward through the onward doorway. And as you guys enter this room, it's literally just a straight, like small entranceway into another room, rectangular in shape and smaller, a lot smaller compared to the rest of the rooms. And as the lights light up, it's filled with these stone shelves and this small stone, like hexagon-shaped table. And on the shelves are these like dusty old cobwebbed bottles, and like small, like very much like dead, rotted plantage on there as well. On the table, you notice that there's these engraved ruins all sort of like around it, and yeah, that's really
tablet, boom.
what's in the room.
That's gross. I don't want to touch that. That's
No,
really
thank you.
nasty.
There's dust on these around this area.
That's gross.
The ones
Nasty.
previously.
Bit half a job.
Like fucked up afterwards.
Yeah, so entering into this room, you hear it when you look beneath your foot, and there's one of the bottles on the floor that was slightly smashed. You've stood on a slightly broken glass. It's not pierced your foot or anything, but you've stood on some broken glass.
Wait, so that bottle was there on the shelf and now it's not?
No, no, you've only just sort of like noticed it, and it was on the floor.
Alright,
It was already smashed and fallen on the floor.
Okay. Is there anything in the bottles?
Dangerous. I'm cast mending on the bottle.
You've got mending.
Going down
Yeah.
to kneeling down to like
Only
cast it
six
on it
won't break.
and looking closer at the
Only
glass.
6 won't break.
You see this
I've done it many times.
like weird, thick, clear liquid still like remaining on some of the glass.
Do I recognise this gross ass liquid?
Make me a
Can't save from
Make an intelligence check.
Drink it.
I'm a smart boy.
That
even
dice
if
rolls
that
a lot of
is-
6.
It does. That's a 12.
12. Okay, so you get a little bit like on your finger, and it's thick and clear, and you sort of like stop pressing it. Like you're very clean, little goblin.
This is why I'm
But
like
any dirt that was on your finger starts like dissolving away from your finger as you're rubbing it around between your finger and
Oh
thumb.
my god, I love it. I want to put it in a vial. I'll
Okay.
make more.
In answer to your question, the any liquid that was in these bottles appears to just completely evaporated from the looks of it. So sadly, they're all
Likewise, are the ones on the around the
Yes.
walls.
Just to make things clear, 90% of the space in my bag is just empty files.
That's safe. How much more have you got in there?
A lot.
So you take some of the remaining little liquid.
Try and get it in a vial.
Okay, yeah, you managed to collect a little bit, like probably a quarter of a vial. There's not much from the bottle, and you cork it.
I get to find out what it does.
Okay, and being in this room as well, you can see that obviously there's a doorway behind you guys, but there's also another archway. From the looks of it, from lighting up, from the light that you've got in this room, there appears to be another room directly leading through an archway to the right of you as well.
So there's nothing else in this room apart from just a
Doesn't
ruin.
appear to be. Yeah, it doesn't appear to be. Apart from this, obviously, this sort of arcane-looking table as well.
How tall?
Can anyone put the tablet on that thing?
That happens.
How high is the ceiling?
How is the ceiling here?
Oh,
About
boring,
10 feet.
Fuck's sake, do something.
Yeah.
I'm just hitting like, oh, frustration, like,
Stop touching things!
I'm going to take it back and put it on
Okay.
in my bag.
Okay, what do you guys wish to do then?
Onwards, I think.
how do you
No
think,
choice, right?
Mr. Rattlebones?
Okay.
I'm going to shoot.
Can you cast menu on the spell?
Won't bring it back to life.
No,
No
the bones
wounds.
intact. Okay, I can study the anatomy of it with the bones intact.
He's not a necromancer.
Not yet. Void class.
So, are you heading back into the room you came, or are you heading right into the other room?
We're just going to move forward and want more ground.
Right, okay, yeah, so you head right into the other room leading through. And it appears to be another sort of like smallish room.
Clean up dirty.
And you can see more of these stone shelves like built into the walls of this space, and they all seem to like been filled with what remains to be like leather bounds of what used to be books, tomes, and pieces of paper. And as you pick up like some of these pieces, they just like rot away and just like fall away in your hands. And from what you can see at the moment, just from initially walking into this
Not
room,
touching that.
any pieces of these, what are meant to be, it seems to be like a small like library almost. And looking forward as well, there's another sort of archway leading further into another tunnel, and another heading backwards on yourself as well,
What if we just blindly ran straight?
as well as the one obviously that you came through,
Well, that's fine.
as well as obviously that there's one that you've just come through, so that would be to your left. You were looking almost at the room, one heading north and one heading south from both of you, from all of you doorways. From what you guys can see at the moment of these books, they all seem to be fairly.
Is there anyone which looks in good enough?
Make me an investigation check.
11.
11. Okay. Sort of like batting around, like seeing if you can find anything at all that's sort of worth a file. You see, like, and eventually, like, batch away some of these pages, back away like this a tome, and you just like knock it off, and it lands, and
Bagsy.
seems to be intact.
I'll pick it up.
And it is this heavy leather-bound tome, black leather, and it has some form of like this like symbol on it. You have no idea
It smells
what
like
it
Anything
is.
that's
It seems to be a language on the very inscrolling.
So anything what I've got that's on the tablet. So any.
It seems to be a similar kind of style, but nothing like it doesn't seem to be like a language or something. From what you can tell anyway.
Click the bind and see what's inside. Harry Potter.
Yeah, you sort of like lay it down on the floor and like flip it over, and like as soon as you like flip this thing, some of the pages do almost disintegrate, but some seem to manage intact. And whatever ink was used to sort of write in this thing, most of it is faded, but some pages still remain intact. And from looking at the writing in this thing, it is alien to you, completely alien. But you feel a slight vibration come from the pocket from the tablet, and the letters themselves shift, and they form
Breath of the Wild.
I don't like it.
into a language that you fully understand. So
I'm
you
trying to
can
read
read it. Okay, flicking through.
Can I read out loud as well?
I'm staying a good 15 feet back.
From the looks of it, it appears to be an ancient arcane tome, filled with, from the looks of it, the things that you're kind of able to do, like the spells that you're able to cast, similar sort of readings out of it. And you've seen kind of similar things like this before, but usually with you it's just more like natural. But people are writing, people have written about the things that you've been able to do, and you sort of like kind of understand it, and they sort of talk about powerful abilities that people have been able to learn, that their people have been able to study and learn in this place. One such power, to be able to control time. Another spell, looking through it, being able to build an entire city in mere minutes. And more examples of these kind of spells, being able to bend reality and fate to your own will, and these to yourself, these incomprehensible kind of abilities.
I want to start reading that bit out loud, like the bits like Tom Trump just like
Okay.
just something.
Okay. You guys see this go, you see Torbar reading this, and he goes part way through the sort of reading out to you, and then he just suddenly stops. Reading this time out to you, to all.
Does it say where there's treasure?
Does it tell us about their necks?
Not quite. No, boys. No. Just give me a moment. Let me just finish this off, and I'll let you know.
Flicking further
Should
through,
we,
there's not many of the pages intact, or any of these.
Does it tell me how to do these spells or not?
The beginnings of their studies from it, but most
trying to
of
do
it
that.
is just you'll let your hands try and copy whatever they did. Nothing works.
Okay.
Past this room, are there any other doorways we can
There
go to?
is, yeah. There's one going north. There's one which you came through, which is to your left, and there's one heading south, like behind you.
I'm gonna hit up. I'm gonna strike at one of my torches, draw one scimitar, and then head to the door to the left.
That's the way that you came through. So
Alright,
you'll be heading
I'll go the one that isn't left.
Okay,
Forward,
yeah, there's
back.
either one forward or back. It's up to you.
Forward.
Forward.
I'm gonna cop it. I'm gonna peg book in my pocket, and then I'm gonna follow.
Okay. Yeah.
Hey, I've got
That's
a nice
that's
sack
nice.
if you want to put it in there. I'll make room,
I wouldn't
Mr.
trust
Rabbit.
you with that.
You have a lot of animals in that bag, Critkit. I don't want to create any problems with this nice little book I've found. Help you understand.
Yeah, maybe mustard wouldn't like that.
I'm so like just rough him on me. Have you got any hair?
Yeah, it's
Rough his hair. And walk past.
badly made.
Okay. Yeah. So you head forward, going onward, and this way seems to lead down further tunnels and door and sort of hallway. And you head further and further on before it reaches like another short left and another dead end, another circular rune plays engraved into the ground, and it does start slightly vibrating in your pocket, the tablet. What do you wish to do?
Here we go again. I'm just gonna hopefully push these guys away and we're going through the door.
Right. Okay.
Oh no, I'm not mentally prepared.
It like takes you and you will feel yourself like a sudden movement shift, and you will embedded in covered in darkness around you will once again. Dancing lights.
Is
Lights up.
torch on still?
Yeah,
Or is it not?
your torch is actually still on. It like flickers a bit like as if it's been in like a sudden like breeze as you guys teleport, but yes, and light still remains. And you're looking down another not tunnel, heading onward once again. And you just that seems almost gentle, almost like breeze seem to like breathe through this tunnel space.
Okay, that means we're near an exit. Careful.
You would hope so. March
So you
forward.
head, yeah, march on. Okay, yeah. So you head further and further on down this hallway. This is quite a long hallway once again. So it takes you a good few minutes travelling down this way before you reach another turning, heading heading left this time. And Charlie, I'm still assuming that you're keeping a good Moldeth track on where you guys are heading, so you carry that on and leads the way. You take another left. You take the left, sorry, and head to them further and further down before you reach another archway, another doorway, heading into another large ruined space. And so go on, no, you go.
Before going into this doorway,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to put on my goggles and cock my crossbow.
Okay, yeah. So you're ready for it. You head, you're heading into this sort of large space, and this is once again a large room. And looking into it at the very end, like facing you guys, is this large closed stone door, and engraved onto it you can see this circular construct made of stone engraved fully into this door, and there appears to be 1, 2, 3 circles. The very middle circle has this stoic stone face, mouth open, looking like directly, pupilless, straight at you all as you enter the room, its mouth open. And on the other circles there are these like other runes engraved, all these different sort of shapes and sizes, all engraved onto the middle one, and on the other one as well, also these runes engraved onto it. Some of them on the very outer ring, a couple of them are missing, and you see there's only like 4 runes engraved on the very like center ring, and you see that some of the runes on the middle and outer ring, like a couple of them, appear to be the same sort of symbol, but appear to them, like I say, on the outer ring, some of them appear to be missing.
What's tablet then?
It's vibrating slightly, actually.
I'm just going to pull it forward and just walk towards, completely aimlessly.
Scanning the area.
Okay, give me an investigation check.
I'm not going to use that dice. I should have used that dice.
That's the whole flip, but I need to use it.
Investigation 13.
Okay, so there appears to be about 3 of these like runes missing. It looks like they've almost been like broken off from this like construction. Looking around the space as well, this is heavily rubbled. Like there's massive piles of stone and rubble and web and dust is just everywhere. Looking around, sort of like scouting around like the very tips of your fingers and with your glove on as well, and trying to shift it around. You do manage to find in like a small like pile of stone what appears to be a small little stone similar to the ones that are like engraved with the runes, with a ruin on the very stone. Looks to be one that would one of the missing ones on the construct.
Someone take this, it's really disgusting.
Yeah, Brother takes it. And as you step forward as well, it vibrates more and more violently as you step forward towards it before you're not even 5 feet towards it. As you get closer, and it's like vibrating violently and more violently in your hand, and it once again like launches out your hand, and it straight into the mouth of this stoic face, and the jaw shuts, and you hear this shift behind this construct. What do you wish to do with missing pieces?
Does this one fit in as well?
It appears that from like looking at the cracks from the very back of this thing and looking at some of the cracks, you think you could, you think you figured out which one it's missing from on the construct. Yeah.
I guess. You know what? The biggest person should do this.
I'll take it.
Mm.
Put it where it looks like it fits.
Yeah.
That's right, Will.
And cast mending.
Bitch.
The stone knits it back together, and the piece falls back onto the outer ring. There's still doesn't start turning, but there's still 2 pieces missing from it.
I'll look around the floor for them.
Yeah, so I'm joining.
Both of you make your investigation checks then.
This is gross. Clean it. Clean it.
Got an
8. Right, good.
Lovely.
Okay. So, Tolbar, you try and look around in sort of like the other piece of like stone, like the small piles of rubber, and sadly you don't manage to find another piece. But Krugar, looking around and sort of looking in among the sort of like webs and dust, like in this small corner, you manage to find another of these like missing piece of the construct. Looks to be another missing piece of one of the runes.
I'll hold it in front of his face.
Ah! Give it away!
Glove in his face.
I'm melting!
And then I'll put it in where it seems to fit.
Okay. Yeah. Easily enough, you manage to like looking at like the cracks and sort of like broken shapes on the back of it and the parts on the wall. Put it to it. I'm assuming you cast mending.
Yeah.
Once again, it's together.
I pull out
Still
a
one piece missing.
beautifully knitted handkerchief
Okay.
and I just furiously clean my face with it.
Yeah.
Well,
It is
never-
filthy by the time you're
Never
in.
handkerchief dirty.
It's now. Absolutely.
Prestidigitation. And it's
Put it
clean.
away.
Now a handkerchief, it's clean.
Can I,
Hearts on it with my name.
can I try and pull out the tablet from this map
Jory's shut.
completely?
Looks like it.
These are all the natural ones coming out.
Try and find the other one then, guys, I suppose.
Yep. You can all make the investigation checks, and if you're all looking.
What? I wasn't prepared!
16.
Oh yeah,
19.
That one.
10 is a big number for me, so
Nice,
it's going to be a 16 if we're going for investigation.
Okay,
16,
so
16,
you got
19.
them. So Kolbar and Krugar, you all you both look around, looking in the sort of remaining piles that you've not searched yet, and looking on the dust and stone, and both like see like a piece like wedged in the stone, and Krugar, you head over and like let them lift it up, and Tolbar, you sort of quickly grab it in, and it's down. You manage to find the looks to be the final missing piece of the construction.
To you.
Once again, Kruger, do you want to make
Yeah.
the final piece?
Now stay away from you.
I hope it doesn't blow up or anything.
Okay. Put it on.
Quick. Hold on.
He's just holding it up, he's not casting mending yet.
Before this thing opens and something walks out of it, I'll put the bear of where I think this thing's going to open.
Okay, yeah.
I want to put more earth on one side to kind of like ask them all that in front of it.
Okay, you make sort of like a wall, like walls.
I'm pulling out a vial that is labelled mustard.
That sounds like it should be banned.
I like it. Yeah, so she cast mending.
Yeah.
Cool.
Roll
The stone, the stone knits together and forms, and the outer ring shifts, and symbols from the missing pieces that you put match with the 4 runes, and it all sort of aligns with these runes, and the thing opens up, and the sort of completely opens this door. It's going to be a great stone door, and as it does, you see a light coming through the crack of this door from behind. It's not fully open yet, only slightly open. But you
Yeah,
can
the
see
doors are
the light.
pretty whatever that one is. I don't know what it's called. Oh, it's called something.
Prestidigitation? No.
No, it's still something, yeah.
No.
Can I mould earth to kind of push the doors in?
I've got my
Yeah,
thumb on the
it
lid.
opens up. You see it opens up to another sort of immediate
Record it.
Every time when I look in your eyes.
Sexy woman.
Ricardo memes. Welcome, boy.
So you shift the earth, and it sort of like and knocks the doors open, winds up into this other space of this area, and sort of winds open. And you see at the very end of this room where the light is coming from, there almost appears to be a scar in the very air, emitting this bright white light coming from it at the very far end.
Do you reckon you can put that in your vial?
I put back the mustard vial and I pull out a much bigger one that just says Tabasco.
Okay.
And I prepare myself.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm just going to cast Fireball at Scar.
Oh, I was going to throw a rock at it, but okay.
Rule one of Ramiro's crew. Don't know what it does for a rock.
It just
What dissipates?
looks like a.
Have I got the tablet or is it gone now?
Don't know. You've not added through to the space. You're not sure where it went.
Right, I'm going to walk through. I'm going to look at the tablet and see what happens.
As you walk through, you see from the other end of the door, it's
I
like drops off the tablet from the other space of like where this like face statue would have been.
I'd like to hold my action if anything comes through.
Say again, sorry.
I'd like to hold my action to shoot anything
Oh,
if it comes in.
Yeah. As you head through and sort of enter into the space, you can see on the walls beside you is more engravings, like taking up this whole smooth stone engraved. To your left, you see this tall figure
Big neck.
holding out their hand, and before them, in like the distance of the art, you can see these great spires like rising from the ground in the distance.
Sick.
To your right, you can see these two figures looking at each other, standing, blades in hand, standing very intensely.
What, engraver?
at each other, engraved into the
Oh my
stone.
god. I was fucking. Oh, I'm down, boys. Right.
Wait, before you go down there, you know the stories about people going into tombs and stuff like that, right? You know how
Should be like.
there's going to be, yeah, you're going to
Trap
you're gonna click
forward
on
or some
you're
sort
gonna,
of.
You're going to click a plate, and then there's going to be arrows like from the side of this corridor.
Have a look for me. I don't want to look in case of some kind of pressure plate or something. I'm going to investigate. Is there anything in the area quickly?
Investigation roll.
Damn. Damn.
Oh. 5.
Nothing other but these engravings of the wall and the very scar, the very break.
Is there a stone in my 5 foot of radius?
Yeah, there's like.
I'm
bits
just
of
give the
rubble
stone
and
down.
And this thing is like hovering slightly off the ground. And
Throw stone into it then. Dissipate.
Push your leg in it.
We can always make new ones.
Put your spider in it.
Oh.
Hey, you talk to me like that. She's very sad.
Uh-huh.
I'll check the vial.
She's crying.
I'm sure my legs were very sad when they disappeared.
You don't have any. Stop complaining.
Uh-huh. I'm sure the machine guns on them or something.
so what do you guys all
They're
want
not
to do?
real.
I'll take them off. No.
I might just fucking run it, mate. I'm just going to run into it.
Put your leg in it.
What the rest of you want to do? If you're running in it, what the rest of you want to do? You see,
We could just mend it.
as you see Tallbar running
Yeah,
towards
good point. You can mend that. It's a good point.
No.
I'm going to mould earth in front of it and see if I
Should've
can
never given
reach
yourself
into a wall.
lands on the ground.
I'm going to do a concert.
No. But as you get closer, this scar isn't like in the wall of this room. It is hovering, like just in the air. It just basically just like in the space, this great scar in reality.
Oh, fuck. Okay. Never mind.
I'm going to walk up to it slowly.
Okay.
My tablet do anything?
It's not actually, no.
Okay, cool.
You want to walk up to it. It is extremely, extremely bright.
More earth. Boom. Right in front of you.
You just rage.
You just rage.
You're taller than 5 foot. You can reach over.
I reach over and poke it with my finger.
Now I'm trapping his foot so he can't move. This
He's got extra
no,
5
damn
feet.
it, no!
Extra reach.
Long arms.
Can I mold earth on my mold earth?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm a mold earth. I'm put my mold earth and grab his arm.
Okay. Before you even like your fingertip touches it.
This is like whole Clive fucking Black Widow meeting, isn't it? No, it's me that died today.
It's
So,
not me, I'm happy.
I don't know what to do. I want to run into him. I don't know the fucking character sheet. That's all.
Right. So no traps. I think it's some kind of portal that we've been going through. I'm just going to walk up to it and jump in.
He wouldn't put his leg in, but he puts his head in.
So these two getting all fucking like.
This is why I was Jake's favourite.
I'm just gonna put my finger in, see what happens.
As soon as you make contact,
Oh,
this
no.
white
It goes away.
pain
Oh,
takes
yeah.
over your
Extra
body
Die.
completely. How many hit points have you got remaining?
I've got 65.
He died believing a lie.
You are knocked to zero,
I
and
always
knocked
say
unconscious,
that's
and it flies you forward. And the moulders that you create is just like this huge blast of energy,
Flies
like
forward.
And you wish
it
you
flies
put
him
your legs
back to
in
like where he came, so he
now.
ran and just basically bounced off it, and all this earth just crumbs away entirely. You guys get blasted to the floor and knocked to the ground. Standy, you are knocked unconscious completely.
Am I knocked to the ground with my hand and my
It blasted the mould away.
Okay,
You just
cool.
completely just got blasted away. Then the star just and this huge like ripple of energy like blasted throughout the place. Okay,
Oh.
so
Oh.
before we carry on, Standy,
How you doing?
as darkness
Hey. Hey.
like basically just
I'm proud of
takes
myself.
you, a vision comes to you in your unconsciousness.
Record.
The thing is, I'm not attached to this character, so I can do what I want with it.
From the
I wanna be
darkness,
attached to
like a cloud breaks, and what you see coming towards you at a great speed is this jaw, and held in the jaw are these teeth, deadly as swords, and these eyes like fire looking straight towards you. And this creature, wings like dark clouds, beating, heading towards you. It opens its jaw. This bright white light forms in its mouth and fully engulfs your vision. And the darkness takes you once again. You guys all looking around, the rubble and the ceiling start to come down. This place is going down. And that's where we're going to end it.